Welcome back, children. As we are here to discuss some basic concept about English grammar. So we are very much aware about that English grammar, to learn English grammar, to go with English grammar is only possible when you are very much uh, knowing about the tenses. So let us start with the tenses today, the first lecture based upon tenses. So without wasting any time, let's begin. Okay, children, so as I was saying that we will start with tense. So here you can see on your screen that we are starting with the very first element of the parts of speech. You can understand why I'm saying these parts of speech, because as usually it is not considered under parts of speech, but it gives a fundamental tense, give and prepare a stage for the parts of speech to come. Like we have so many parts of speech in English grammar, followed by noun, pronoun, verb, adverb, so and so forth. So this is how, if you go with tenses first, if you are able to understand tenses very prominently, then you can understand the parts of speech as well. So what is the tense, children? Tense can be defined as that form of the verb which shows the time and state of an action or event. Now this is very important to you to understand that tense can be defined as that form of the verb which shows the time and state of an action or event. What it means? It is clearly mentioned here that tense is the formation of verb. A verb is going to be changed in tenses. So very essential is the verb. The major role in a tense is the importance of the verb. Now verb shows some relation. It will show some relation with time and state as well. And obviously if it is related with time and state, it will make an action or an event as well. So this is the concept, this is the definition, complete definition of tense. Now let us understand what it has been defined in above definition through this structure. Now let me clear this point to you, that if it is mentioned here that a tense will form only by the verb. Now you can see we need a subject, a strong subject. S indicates subject. So we need a subject, verb as well as an object to complete a sentence. This is very, you should understand this as early as possible. In a sentence, we need a subject, we need a verb, and we need an object. Because you have gone through a chapter sentence in your previous classes, because sentence is the group of words or collection of words which makes a complete sense is called sentence. So whenever you make a sentence, you have to keep this in your mind, that you need a strong subject, you need a verb, and obviously you need an object. So how you will understand that how the verbs formation occurs in these type of sentences? In the second structure, you can see clearly that verb has been changed here. It has been added s oblique es. Now s oblique es can be used to the main form of the verb. So this is the structure, how it is changing from a verb, a simple verb, to the verb ses form. Third, you can also see that there is a subject alone and an object. In between subject and object, you can see verb first form. Now this is very clearly, this is indicating that verb is changing regularly. The verb is changing regularly in each of the structure. Structure number 4, you can see subject, object again, and what it, you can see what something new here. The verb is in its second form. So verb is alternatively, the verb is changing. Now you can see here structure number 5, you can see verb is in its third form. So like this only we can understand from the above that verb will alternatively, verb will change and it will makes a difference, genuine difference, so that you could understand that what is the verb and what is the formation of verb, how it can be related to time and state, and how it can produce some action or an event. So hopefully now let's move towards the examples so that you can understand in an easy way. Like I was talking about a subject first. Now Sneha, I have taken Sneha as a subject. You can see in the second structure of the structure which I have showed you right now, that in the second structure verb was in its S and ES form. Now you can see verb, sing is a verb and S is used in it. You can see very clearly. Now subject plus verb and SES form it is, and then song is an object. So this is very much clear that it is subject, verb, S form and then an object. So this is the structure number 2 which I showed you just now. Again one more example is there, that Sneha sang a song. Now you can clearly see that this particular verb, which is the second form of sing, you can see sang, this is the V2 verb, second form. Subject is same, object is same, but what happens is the verb is changing all the time. You can see the third example, again Sneha, the same girl, the same object, but it has taken some helping verb as has, and then sung, S-U-N-G. Now it is the third form of the verb, it is the past participle of sing, so it is sung, you can clearly see, and then song as an object. So what it means, that all the time the verb is changing, students. What it happens, all the time the verb is changing and nothing else is going on in these above examples. We can see the next example, Sneha is singing a song. Again Sneha is same, the same girl, same subject, and song as well, the same object, but you can see the changes in between. That is an it is a helping verb, and then singing, it is in the ing form. You can see clearly it has been used, ing has been used in the main verb, that is sing. So you can see alternatively the verb is changing and nothing is going on in the above examples. Again I have taken Sneha. Now you can see clearly has been used. You can see has been used before singing, so it goes in present perfect continuous tense. So this was all the scenario of the structures which you will understand more in the next topic to come, because this was only an introduction to you so that you can easily understand the basic concept of tenses. Now let us understand some important aspects of tenses. Now what are the important aspects, children? Important aspects, we can say some important points as well, we can say some important structures we can also say. So there are 3 points I have mentioned here: the structure of the tenses, rules based on tenses, and the third one is uses of the rules in a sentence. First of all, you have to learn how you can make the structure of the particular tense. Then you have to learn what are the rules based on the particular tenses, and finally you have to use those tenses, those structures in your writings. So these are the 3 points which you have to take under consideration. If I talk about the third point, uses of the rules in a sentence, you can see clearly the third point, uses of the rules in a sentence. Now sentence word is something important for you. It is an interesting thing which you can correlate with sentence. When we talk about sentence, uses of the rules, what it means, that structure which you will learn, rules which you will learn how you can use these two things, uses of the rules as well as structures in a sentence, because we are writing a sentence throughout the day. So sentence is divided in many parts, because you can see you have gone through the core classes as well, that affirmative sentences are there, positive sentences, it means the same, then negative is there, interrogative is there, double interrogative, negative, so many things are there. But I have taken only 3 sentences because I want you to understand each and everything related with the topic of tense. If you understand these 3 basic sentences, then you will able to modify the different types of sentences. So I have taken only 3 which are very peculiar as far your syllabus is concerned. First one is affirmative. Affirmative can be also said as positive. So it is positive sentence. Second is negative sentence, very important it is. And the third one is interrogative sentence. It is very easy for you all, because each and every student is knowing that what is affirmative, what is positive. Everybody is knowing what is negative and interrogative as well. But this is my moral duty to tell you that what is the difference among these 3. Now let us understand more about that, what are these 3 things, what are these sentences which means a lot for you as well as for us. Now according to English grammar, if I say there is something new for you, that according to English grammar there are 3 types of tenses. I hope you all are knowing this. Present tense, which indicates today. Past tense, which is a symbol of yesterday. And the future tense, which will tell you about tomorrow. So these are the 3 part of tenses which is essential you to understand. Now what is the note? As you know that I was talking about structures and rules according to their sentences. Now you remember I was talking earlier about the structures, rules according to their sentences. What were the sentences? The positive one, negative one, and the interrogative it was. So keep this in your mind, because you can't discriminate these sentences from tenses. Sentences and tenses are complement to each other. Okay, so let us discuss about the tenses in association with their sentences. So first you can see I have taken here present tense. So let us start with present tense. So present tense is something which tells you about today. Now let us understand what is today. It has been divided into 4 parts. Present tense has been divided into 4 parts. First one is present indefinite, or simple present we can say. Present continuous, or we can say present progressive tense as well. Both means the same. Present perfect tense is the third one, and present perfect continuous tense is the last part of present tense. So these are the 4 topics, these are the 4 essential points which we have to understand, and these all 4 stands for these all 4 represents present tense: present indefinite, present continuous, present perfect, and present perfect continuous tense. Okay, so we will discuss in more detail next video that how we can correlate each and every tenses according to their given sentences, that is positive, negative and interrogative. I will tell you that how present tense can be divided into positive, negative and interrogative. I will tell you how the past tense can be divided into positive, negative and interrogative. And then I will tell you how the future tense can be divided into positive, negative and interrogative according with its structures as well as rules. Till then, take care, bye bye and wait for next video.